So after our slight intermission in games, we've made it to the age of Kasparov. And this game from '83 against Portisch, Kasparov just kind of lays the smack down in a way that's reminiscent of the first games that we looked at in the series, where it's just one-sided tactical bashing. And Kasparov, much like Fischer, is a man of initiative. So let's see it in motion. So we get ourselves a Queens Indian defense. And this is the Petrosian variation of the Queens Indian. Now, A3 looks like a waste of time, but it's actually a very useful move in making sure that Black's dart square bishop doesn't go to B4, with the ability to take that knight, changing the pawn structure. And that's one of the key ideas in the Nimzo-Indian, Queens Indian complex. Great players like Kasparov made a career out of playing those structures with the Queens Indian and Nimzo-Indian. So, A3. Interesting. D5. So, Portisch lays claim to the center, making sure E4 is not going to be played. Capture, capture. And I always like the positions better with pawn takes, as they just felt easier. You have like bishop G5, bishop E7, and you can get this kind of castles, knight BD7, C5, and that's the general plan and structure for both sides. So after knight takes, we got E3, grab, grab, bishop E7, check, and this intermediary check is a good move because you are getting Black to play C6, which is limiting the scope of his light square bishop. And if he played an alternative move like knight D7, after knight E5, this is already going to be too much pressure for Black to handle, and he's going to lose some material. And if he takes on G2 after rook G1, like, this is just Kasparov's wheelhouse, this type of aggressive position. So C6, now the bishop comes back to D3 once we have hampered Black's development. C5, knight C6, and White's just getting all of his pieces developed. Rook A1, where the action's going to be happening later. C4, and we have a hanging pawn's position. And what we know about hanging pawn's position from the previous game that we looked at between Korchnoi and Karpov is you got to have the right time to push them, and you've got to have compensation with your activity for the weaknesses of the hanging pawns. Knight A5, pressuring C4, and Kasparov, being who he is, says, okay, D5, you can take the pawns, but notice the lineup here. And the B's are looking beastly. And anytime I do not see a knight here or here, I know that the king is weaker, and more than likely something bad's about to happen. Capture. And it looks like Black has won a pawn, but that is. Check. Rook lifts. And now it seems as if Black has made it out of it, but double bishop sack. Knight E5. Check. Threatening mate. Check. Love this. And it's a rook for two pieces. Most of the time the two pieces are better. But just like in boxing, if you keep hitting the guy in the face, he can't hit you back. So the knight and bishop aren't going to be very useful here if Kasparov just keeps making these nasty threats. Check. Coordination. running him up the board for it to end in devastation, because the king is out of squares. All you can do is block with the queen on c3, or the knight. You just take the knight. So after queen c3, you're looking at a move like rook check, where you end up winning. So this is the first of many Kasparov games. Looking at his early career, we're going to be moving on with history.